Hey, we're back with another episode of Before You Buy, that show where we give you some straight up gameplay and our first impressions of the latest games releasing. It's me, Jake Baldino. We've had a really busy October, and it keeps moving with Battlefield 6 here. Now, after the botched launch of Battlefield 2042, that game eventually cleaned up its act, but by that point, a lot of people wanted a return to form. So with this new Battlefield 6, all the pre-release talk, all the marketing was Battlefield going back to its roots, or at least inspired by Battlefield 3 and 4. Having now played it quite a bit over the last few weeks in betas, a preview session, the review, and now playing with the servers live, yeah, it does feel like good old-fashioned Battlefield. Battlefield 6 is a blast. The gaming world has changed since Battlefield was on top, though. Fortnite has really had some staying power. Call of Duty is gonna Call of Duty. I don't know how much this will rock the world of online multiplayer games long-term, mainstream, but I don't really care, man. It's good Battlefield and it's good fun. I am terrible at it, clearly, but it's so fun that it doesn't even bother me when I lose. I'll explain that in a bit, but just so you know, we've been playing review copies, and this footage you see here has been captured running on a PS5 Pro, yes, console FPS gameplay, sorry for some of you, but we've also got some PC footage here as well. Also, it is spoiler-free for the campaign, if you care. So thanks for waiting for this video. I wanted to play a bit more after launch to really make sure it wasn't launching a mess with the servers and stuff. So far, they seem to be holding. I've been getting matches, no problem, but you know, if you're watching at launch, just know that might still be subject to change over the weekend or so. So yeah, anyway, before we talk about the good news, let's just quickly touch on the campaign. I didn't like it. I found it to be a drag. It tries to kind of show you the ropes of the different character classes in a single player setting while trying to bring adventure and cinematic destruction, and there's plenty of cinematic stuff, but ultimately it just all rang hollow for me. I didn't really connect with anything going on or give a damn, from the characters and squad members to the actual stuff at stake here. Like, I think they did the best they could with the idea of a crumbling NATO versus some big mercenary faction, but I think that concept as a whole is just kind of dull otherwise, so it doesn't really go too far. It's got a few moments, like a couple of the missions are kind of cool, but ultimately it felt generic and forgettable. And listen, I say that as someone who loves a good, fun, silly, generic Call of Duty campaign, and I've really enjoyed some Battlefield campaigns in the past as well, for all their flaws. I was hoping for a completely rock-solid package, but unfortunately the single player fell short. But you might be saying, hey, Jake, shut up, whatever. You're probably here for the multiplayer, right? And like I said up top, it is a blast. I've never really been like a hardcore player, but I have played all the Battlefields. And this does feel like a return to the glory days of 3 and 4, but with really, really good new tech, graphics, movement, feedback, and content offering to back it all up. It feels like what Battlefield should have been all along. And the biggest thing is back to the classes. You probably heard a lot about it, but it's really done well here. If you don't know, you play as one of 4 different types of guys. Assault, the all-arounder, up close and personal. An engineer, taking down enemy vehicles and fixing up your own. Support, stocking up and healing and defending your allies. And recon, the spotter, the sniper guy. The classes each have their own bonuses and incentives for working together in your squad, as well as just playing your role properly. And they have sub-specializations too. These things called training paths that you can choose that give you different passive and active bonuses. Like, say, for example, if you're an assault, do you want faster movement speed while shooting and extra grenades, or lean into faster healing and bonus adrenaline rushes? They sound small, and they are, these choices, but it's a good example of what generally is a really good character progression and loadout system. The more you use a class, and the more you use a certain weapon, the more you level it up, and the more you earn and unlock, like, equipment and stuff. And for those guns themselves, weapon attachments and types, there's a good amount. The progression definitely slows after the first couple of ranks, and it takes a while to get more stuff, especially weapons, like if you're looking for a better sniper rifle. But it's still, the game is fun enough, I think, to warrant the playing. Maybe it'll be tweaked, fine-tuned, probably, balancing happens, I don't know. Either way, unlock time aside for some of this stuff, I like the progression and unlock paths in terms of the amount of stuff. It's simple, it's old-fashioned, but not half-assed or lacking. Movement and shooting feels really good. This is what kind of locked me in. You're pretty fast. It's a bit zippier than you might expect. You can sprint while crouching, for example. But I don't think it's all movement speed. I think it's the satisfying movement that just helps it feel that way. Mounting your weapon on walls and corners feels very smooth and easy. Crouching, going prone is very smooth. You can dive and slide around and move in all directions while prone. Knife sprinting is a thing, ADS is tight, and weapon feedback is really good. Shooting feels satisfying, the hits, the impacts feel impactful, and it's just like a good perfect storm of FPS shooting with all those elements. Plus, thanks to the sound design, with killer sounding weapons and explosions. Now, I've struggled with vehicle controls a bit, I will say. I think they could still use some tuning here and there. They just don't control quite right. I don't think they've ever really been perfect in Battlefield, but I still feel like they could be easier. So we'll see what happens there. It might just be me. But again, boots on the ground wise, the smoother, snappier Battlefield feeling also really helps in what they've done with the maps. There are some smaller maps and maps that are like subdivisions of bigger maps. And these smaller map close quarters encounters feel really good and fun. It's not my ideal Battlefield experience, running around small rooms with a knife or a shotgun. There's other games for that, but you can still tell they've put the work in on the smaller areas, and it doesn't just feel like Battlefield awkwardly smushed into a small experience. It just gels really well. So combat big and small just works really well interchangeably. And the maps overall, I think they're very good. There are 9 of them, and some of them are pretty large. Some of them are sweaty and narrow, and there's of course a good throwback here with Operation Firestorm returning. Some map favoritism, it's going to be subjective and down to a player's taste, and even a player's taste in play style, but I think they flow really well, and I have some personal favorites already. Liberation Peak has great sight lines, and I love that by the end of a large battle with the destruction and stuff, entire houses and buildings are just completely flattened. Saints Quarter just looks cool and it's fun in close quarters, along with Empire State having some good close quarters moments, battling on fire escapes and between buildings in New York, but also Manhattan Bridge, the scale of it and just the look of it, I like it a lot. I don't know how fans are, maybe they're gonna make fun of me, I don't care. Manhattan Bridge is a really cool map. It's also a good New York recreation, so I am biased, but yeah. The 9 maps, and then in main searchable modes, there are technically 8 game modes. That's a lot of stuff, man. Look, I know we dunk on EA a lot, but credit where credit is due here, at least in a world where games are launched half finished or just light on content. This is a good, solid offering up front in 2025. Plus, a server browser for custom community experiences and just a pretty decent custom search and match creation options make it feel pretty comprehensive, like a good old-fashioned multiplayer game should be. Some of the created experiences already are interesting, the stuff I've dipped my toe into, but I'm really looking forward to seeing what people cook up long term. That stuff is not really my world though. Community stuff in general, I can't predict long term. I can't predict a few months down the line how the player base will adapt, what type of meta will emerge, who embraces open versus closed weapons, stuff like that. When balancing will maybe go too far, when it won't go far enough, will the content monetization in the future suck? A lot of what ifs, and I can't predict that stuff. All I can say is that at launch, when you're getting in games, it is a good fun time, and the foundation is really good here. In large scale battles, you really do feel like fodder. That's what these games go for. You'll spawn, you'll instantly get shot in the head, you'll spawn again, you'll run around, get shot in the head again, nobody will revive you because people are still figuring that out. That feeling of being fodder in these large battles, that's what these games can kind of go for. But when they're at their best, they empower you to contribute to the battle, not just by going Rambo, but by helping others, spotting enemies, taking out tanks, creeping around blown out buildings, healing dudes, playing objectives right, and rewarding you for doing so in good, satisfying ways. It excels at that to me personally here with 6. Like I said earlier, I do suck. When I'm having a great match murdering dudes, you get that endorphin rush, you get that high. But when you're just sucking or you're just playing a specific role in a squad, you're still having just as much fun thanks to the game's rewards, how it rewards you at the end of a match, gameplay feel, and spectacle. Good destruction and sound design, it goes a long way. And speaking of that, like on PS5 Pro and PC, we haven't had any severe technical issues or anything as well. It seems like they've really been putting the time and effort behind this one. It does not feel undercooked at all, and it looks really damn good. Ranking and rewards progression, like I said, is good and perfectly in-depth, if a little slow, but what's good is there's a lot of stuff. Weapon customization, skins, and some customization for the skins, even if it's kind of low-key. A detailed profile with stats, badges, dog tags, a player card. There's plenty here to keep busy, and there's daily and weekly challenges and things like that to pursue. As of right now, nothing feels annoying or cynical from a monetization sense. That could change, but right now, I've been cool with it. And it does just feel like a good package. In a world, like I said before, where we've gotten plenty of multiplayer games that are either half-baked, undercooked, glitchy, or they're good, but they just don't have enough content offerings, Battlefield 6 kind of rounds things out, and it kind of seems like it's given us a good amount of stuff. As much as I played a review copy, I also did buy the game, and I feel like I'm gonna get my money's worth out of it. Except for the campaign. I did not like the campaign at all, so it's not all roses and sunshine, but I really came to this for the multiplayer, and I've been having a blast with it. But hey, that's a before you buy. You know how this goes by now. I give you some pros, some cons, and some personal opinion, and now I want to hear yours down in the comments. I'd love to just know your experience with Battlefield. Are you a Call of Duty player looking for something different? Are you an old school Battlefield player? Is this your first Battlefield? Look, there's so much we can talk about, so let me know how you're feeling with this one. If you like this video and seeing our mid gameplay, if it really helped you, informed your purchasing decision or anything like that, clicking the like button helps us out. We appreciate that. And if you're new, consider subscribing, maybe hitting that notification bell because we put out videos every single day. But as always, I'm Jake. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.